Okay, now I'm going to show you on how are we going to spawn our enemies dynamically. Spawn or instantiate. Okay, so far, all of our game objects are defined or created during design time. Okay, so all of them are here except for the fireball. Okay, because the fireball is going to be instantiated only if the user is going to press on the key or the fire key, which is L in my case. Okay, so how about if ever I want that there would be some enemies that we are going to instantiate at runtime. Okay, so therefore at design time, for example, we are going to have our dragon here to be instantiated only um, dynamically at runtime. So we are going to wait for a certain trigger that is going to happen, then the enemy will be instantiated. Okay, so therefore, just like with what we did with our fireball, we're going to make our dragon as a prefab. Okay, so I'm going to drag the game object dragon here into the prefab. Okay, so as you can see here, we have now our prefab dragon and fireball because soon we are going to uh, instantiate or we are going to spawn our enemy later on. Okay? But as you can see here, we have in our enemy AI script, we have our player serialized as serialized field. As I'm going to drag on the player, so I could not put my enemy here. Oh no, the player here. Okay? So instead that we are going to have it there, instead that we're going to serialize our player. Okay? So I'm just going to remove okay, the serialize there. Then we are going to find at the start, we are going to find our player. Player is equal to game object dot find then the name of the player. Okay, I get the transform because we have here our transform. Okay, or to make it complete, we're going just okay. I'm just going to show you the complete syntax. We're going to have uh, get component then the transform. Okay, they're just actually the same. Okay, so we have here now our player. Okay, so that when we are going to have our dragon here, okay, so we don't have any more the serialized field for our player. And by the way, I'm going to delete now the dragon from the hierarchy. Okay, because we are just going to have it later on in our uh, when a certain trigger is going to happen. And what would be that trigger? So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete now my uh, text here. Then I'm going to have an empty object. I'm going to create an empty object. I'm just going to call this one as enemy trigger. Okay. Actually, we could not see it here. I'm just going to have an icon. Okay. So blue. Okay. So we have here now our enemy trigger. Okay. Then I'm going to add a component. So that would be since that's a circle, so I'm just going to have a circle collider 2D. Okay. And I'm going to make that as a trigger. So what will happen is that when the user is going to collide with the trigger, I'm going to show the dragon here. Okay? So that is why I'm going to create here a tag. Okay, we don't have an enemy trigger yet. So I'm just going to add a tag. I'm going to call it enemy trigger. Okay? Then I'll tag it as enemy trigger so that when the user is going to collide. So I'm going to have it here on my player. Wait, I'm on the enemy AI. So, okay, correct. Okay, so I'm going to have it on my player. Okay, so here. But first, I'm going to create here a serialized field. Okay, for the dragon. Okay, save. Then on my player, I'm going to drag. Okay, so wait, we have here our dragon. So I'm going to drag my dragon there. Okay, so we have now a reference for our dragon that we are going to instantiate later on, somewhere here. Okay, so we have it here. Then let's go to the trigger. Okay, so if other object is enemy, that is game over. Okay, actually the dragon is the enemy. So, but for I'm going to have here else if the other object enemy trigger, then I'm going to instantiate. Okay, I'm going to instantiate the dragon. Okay, dragon. Then from what position? So comma. Okay, I'm going to define the vector 2. I'm just going to call it dragon position. Okay. Um, the other object. Okay, so the other object here is we have this one here. So maybe we're going to have somewhere here. Okay, the x would be somewhere here. Then the y is on top. Okay. X, let us say plus maybe 5. Let us say 5. Then the y maybe plus 5. Okay, so just play later on with the values here, and we are going to update that later on. Okay, so I'm going to have here the dragon position. It's dragon position. Then quaternion. Okay, this is just actually uh, the rotation. Okay. Okay, let us try. So save. So once I'm going to bump or collide with somewhere here, then it is the dragon is going to appear somewhere here maybe. Okay. Okay, so it there. Okay. And as you can see, every time that I'm going to bump or collide with uh, the trigger, so a dragon appears. Okay. Okay. Anyway, as you can see here, we have now instantiated our dragon. But how about if ever I want the dragon to be, uh, let us say, it should only instantiate a single dragon. Okay, so that if ever a dragon has been instantiated, no more enemy has to be reinstantiated. or respawn or spawn again. Okay, so in that case, we are going to destroy the other object. The other object here, by the way, is our trigger. Okay, it now instantiated or spawned the enemy. Then destroy the trigger. Okay, so that the dragon will not spawn again. Okay, so let's try. Okay, we have one. Then as I move forward, so there's no more dragon. Why? It's because the trigger has been destroyed. Okay, now uh, I have a sprite. Have prepared a sprite. Okay, I have called it baby dragon. Okay, why? Because okay, I'll drag it to my sprites. Dragon baby. Okay, because what I want is that once the dragon or the mother dragon appears, okay, the dragon uh, should not be pulled by our gravity. Okay, so the dragon or the mama dragon or the mother dragon is going to stay here, and it is just going to spawn or deliver baby dragons. Okay, let us say every 2 or 1 second. Okay, but before that, I'm going to have my baby dragon since they are going to I'm just going to have a box collider. Then since they are going to move, so we're going to have the rigid body. I know they're just going to move towards, so therefore no more rigid body. No, so rigid body 4 because they are going to be uh they're going to fall down into our uh platform. Okay. Then I'm going to create a script. I'm just going to call it baby dragon controller. Okay. By the way, I'm going to use the enemy AI still for the main dragon. Okay. So first I'm going to go back to my prefabs. I'm going to edit my dragon. Then for the rigid body, I'm going to set the gravity scale to 0. Okay. Because I don't want it to fall down. Okay. I just want uh, the mother dragon to fly wherever is our player. Okay, so we have now our enemy AI, okay, which we have edited before, that is going to attack, is just going to actually follow our player. Okay, so in our case now, the dragon or the mother dragon is not going to attack, but it is going to follow the player while flying. So it is going to stay on top of the player. Okay, so therefore we're just going to modify it later on. Okay, so I just want, okay, where it is. Okay, so if ever I have here my dragon, okay, so if ever it's now spawned here, so these baby dragons are going to be spawned or instantiated just below the dragon. Okay, so that uh, these are going to fall into the ground, then attack our player. Okay, that would be so instantiate the mother dragon, then also instantiate our baby dragons multiple times. Okay, so therefore, my baby dragon would also be a trigger. Okay, I call it dragon baby. Okay, so I'm going to have here. Okay, first is we're going to have the enemy AI that is going to spawn or instantiate our baby dragons. Okay, so what I want is that we are going to instantiate or spawn our baby dragons every 2 seconds. Okay, so what are we going to use as timer? Okay, so that we could have the dragon or the baby dragons to be instantiated every 2 seconds. Okay, where it is. Okay, it's a bit here. Now, we are going to use coroutines. Okay, so coroutines are a programming concept that allows the execution of functions to be paused and resumed, which is specifically is useful for time-dependent tasks. Okay, they are often used in game development. In our case, we have here our game development, and we are going to use this feature here because we are going to instantiate baby dragons every 2 seconds. Okay, and coroutines, by the way, before that, we have here an interface. Okay, for C sharp, IEnumerator is an interface that enables us to iterate through a collection. Okay, because coroutines here are implemented using IEnumerator. Take note, it is going to iterate through a collection. So a coroutine, uh, they are going to be implemented as IEnumerator because they allow executions to be paused and resumed at certain points. Okay, so IEnumerate such as an array. So a coroutine could produce multiple results. Okay, could return multiple results, so that's why it is just like an array or a list. Okay, so that is why a coroutine is implemented using IEnumerator. Okay, so how are we going to implement the instantiation of uh, baby dragons every 2 seconds? But before that, let us try first if the dragon is going to stay above. Okay, I'll try it first. Before we are going to uh, instantiate or dynamically instantiate our baby dragons, I'm going to remove the dragon and the baby dragon. Okay, okay, so a bit there. So at 5, okay, so it should follow. Okay, so what I want next is that if ever I am going to go here, this dragon is going to follow my player. Okay, or else if ever I am here, it is still going to follow. And while it is following the player, it is going to dynamically uh, instantiate baby dragons. Okay, so we are going to make the dragon first to follow my player. Okay, so a bit here. Distance. Okay, so as you could see here, uh, our distance to player, if ever it is less than or equal to the attack range, it should follow. Okay, so as I've said earlier, it should be follow, not attack anymore. But as you have observed a while ago, it is not following our player. Okay, so it is because it is possible that the distance here is greater than 5. Okay, so we're just going to modify. Maybe. Okay, I'm just going to have it here 10. I'll try with 10. Okay, so as you can see, it is now following my player, but it is moving down, going down. So what I want is that it's going to stay on top. It's just going to follow the player, but the Y would still be the same. Okay, so that is why here in our move towards. Okay, so we must have to change. Okay, we have here the starting position, then to the destination. Okay, so I'm going to create. I'm just going to call it target position. Okay, vector 2. Okay, I'm going to target the player position. Okay, so as you can see here, player position X. Okay, the X is still going to change because wherever would be the position of the player, uh, this enemy is going to follow, but it must stay with the Y. Okay, whose Y? It should be our transform. Who is our transform here? It is the enemy or the dragon. Okay, so as you can see, the X is for the player or from the player, and the Y is from the dragon. So therefore, it is going to stay on the Y. Okay, so here I'm going to have now target position. Okay, so save. Okay, so as you can see it there, it stays now on the Y. Okay, so I'm going to move, so it is going to follow. Okay, so next is I want in every 2 seconds, it is going to spawn a baby dragon here. Okay, so as I've said, we are going to have or we are going to create. I'm just going to have it here. Okay, below. Okay, a coroutine. Okay, and it is I enumerator. Okay, then spawn baby dragon. Okay, I'm going to have. Okay, we're going to have an unlimited. Okay, so we're going to have an unlimited dragon. So I'm going to have here or baby dragon. While true, it is going to. Okay, so as you can see, we have here yield return new then the number of seconds. Okay. So, but anyway, what I want is I'm going to instantiate first, then it is going to pause. Okay? So, we are going to instantiate. But before that, before I'm going to instantiate, so that I could show you here, I'm going to debug the log. Okay. I'm just going to the time. Okay? So, how are we going to call then our enumerator? No, coroutine. Okay? So, by using now the command start coroutine from here. Okay. I'm going to have the start coroutine, then spawn baby dragon. Okay. So it's just going to display the time every 2 seconds. Okay, I'll try. Okay, so you can see it is now, the time is now changed every 2 seconds, 11, then 13, and so on. Okay, so therefore, our coroutine is now working. So the next thing that we're going to do now is we are going to instantiate our baby dragons. Okay, instantiate, instantiate. Okay, what? Our baby dragon. But first is we're going to create a serialized field game object named baby dragon. Okay, so baby dragon. So therefore, from the dragon. Wait, it is the enemy AI serialized field. Oh, we have an error. Okay. I wasn't able to notice the error here. I'm waiting actually for the serialized field to appear here. So I'm just going to delete my dragon from the hierarchy, and I'm going to, since there is an error, so the serialized field did not appear. Okay, dragon. Okay, so here now are baby dragons. I'm going to drag my baby dragon prefab into my baby dragon field. Okay, so I could now instantiate uh, my baby dragon. Okay, baby dragon, then the position. So where should be our position? Now, what will happen if ever we're going to have the x and y the same with the mother dragon? What will happen is that they are going to collide, and the mother dragon uh, might be thrown, okay, maybe down or up. Okay, so we're going to modify it. So baby dragon, then we are going to have a vector 2. Then for the x, we are going to have x and y and the quaternion dot identity. So first is for the x. Our reference would be the location of or the x of the dragon, the mother dragon. Okay, so we have transform dot position dot x. Okay, and also with the y, transform dot position dot y. But again, uh, okay, the x maybe will be the same, but for the y, we are going to have it below. Let's say minus 1 maybe. Oh, must be u. Okay, the y should be below and the x. Okay, anyway, we're just going to change it if ever the mother and the baby is going to collide. Okay, so as you can see here, oh, they are colliding. As you can see here, the mother dragon is uh, every time it is going to instantiate or spawn a baby dragon, it is going to move upwards. Okay. So I'm just going to adjust maybe 1.5. Okay. So just adjust then for uh, the speed maybe of or the distances. Okay, the height of the mother dragon and so on. Okay. So next, we're just going to create then okay a script. Okay, that is going to control our baby dragon. And I think we already have here our baby dragon controller. Okay, so what we're going to do is we're just going to move our player, no, our baby dragons to move towards our player. Okay, once they are instantiated, they are going to move towards our player. Okay, so that's why I'm going to have here, I'm going to initialize here a player. Okay, then at the start, we're going to have player is equal to find the player and the transform. Okay, and then dot position. Okay, so we have moved towards the position of the player. Okay, and we are not going to modify anymore the position. Why? It is because we want this baby dragon to collide with the player so that these enemies can eliminate our player. Okay, not just like with their mama dragon or mother dragon, wherein um, the Y, okay, will remain at the top. Okay, so here we have position and maybe we're going to make it a little bit faster. Okay, and then the baby dragon should be tagged as enemy. Okay, let us try. Oops, they're not moving. But anyway, as I'm going to collide with them, they are going to die. Okay, but they are not moving. Okay, so they should be moving towards or I think they're just very slow. Move speed. Hmm, okay. The problem is the baby dragons are not attacking our player. Oh, we don't have our baby dragon controller. Okay. I think 10 is very fast. Okay. I could now stomp on the baby dragons. Okay. So all of them are going to attack now the player. Okay, that's game over. Okay, so that's how are we going to instantiate uh, enemies or any game objects actually dynamically, or this is what we call this at runtime. Okay, so recap. Okay, as we have collided with the trigger, the enemy trigger, it instantiated, I'm just going to call it Mama Dragon. Okay, so we have here instantiate, and so that there would only be one Mama Dragon, so we have destroyed our trigger once it has instantiated the Mama Dragon. Okay, then for the Mama Dragon, as it is going to be instantiated, um, what else? Okay, so we have here our player. Okay, we have created here a reference for our player because it is going to attack or actually follow our player. I'm just going to call it now follow. Okay, and while it is following, okay, to follow by the way our player. Okay, so we have here the move towards. Okay, then the target position, it is going to stay on its y axis. So it is not going to go down to our platforms. It is going so that it seems like it is going to be flying. And here we created a coroutine, okay, because it is going to spawn or instantiate baby dragons every 2 seconds. So we have here spawn dragon enumerator. So we used here after we have instantiated, okay, the baby dragon, we are going to yield, okay? Yield return, then yield meaning give way to others, to other operations, okay? Then after that, it is going to return new, then wait for 2 seconds. So after 2 seconds, then it is going to instantiate again another baby dragon. So it is going to follow. It is on main. I mean, it is going to execute this coroutine every 2 seconds. Okay, instantiate first, then uh, wait for 2 seconds. And for our baby dragons, as soon as they are instantiated, they are going to look for the player and they are going to move towards and attack our player. Okay, and we have named it as our enemy so that in our player and here, if ever the player is going to uh, collide with our enemy or with that baby dragon, since it is enemy, it is going to be game over. Okay? And also here, by the way, it's not here, or it is going to stomp where it is. Okay, maybe if ever it is going to stomp on the baby dragon since it is also an enemy, so therefore these are going to take effect. Okay? So again, the instantiation is not only applicable for enemies. Okay, so you could instantiate any game object based on case-to-case basis, based on your game. Okay, so that's all for this topic, and I'll see you on the next one.